Hello and welcome back to Hyogo, where we are here with the top 4 of the CS this weekend. Got an interesting matchup this one. We've got BY Luffy up against Bonney. This is typically a pretty good matchup for Bonney. Some of the cards that the Bonney player is going to be looking for are their Hody Jones, their Doflamingo. The 5-cost Bonney, if they play that, is a very good card into BY Luffy. Be some interesting options here. And we do see the BY Luffy player's hand. He's got double Egghead. He's got a Sabo, lovely manga Sabo there, look at that. The event and a Garp. Pretty decent hand, nothing too crazy from the BY Luffy player, no Morias yet. But, seems like a solid hand to start the game. Got 2 searchers and some dudes to start playing out, very nice. And we'll see what the Bonney gets in their opening hand. We're interesting to see if Bonney can go any further in this tournament. But this, I believe, is Bonney's first top 16 in the 09 format. And we'll see if she can go all the way already. Bonney player is drawing their hand now. Setting out the life cards. So yeah, I'm sure he's going to be looking for the Hody Jones. Is one of the best cards. Being able to rest all those Sabo blockers. Very impactful. Also, just being able to rest the other characters in the mid game can be pretty relevant. Gives you something to attack into that's not life. Because, as you know, people like to starve BY Luffy of their life. And we do see the hand here, got double 2Ks, and we've got a Killer Blocker, Hody Jones, and a Shanks. Pretty good, looking pretty good. Looking for something to play on those turns before the end of the game, I'm sure. Something like a Carrot or a Cavendish would be lovely to see for the Bonney player. But having the Hody Jones already is very nice. Be interesting to see if they play the 9-cost Zoro, and if this BY Luffy player plays anything to help deal with that. We did see a BY Luffy player earlier playing Hyogo, which is pretty good for dealing with Zoro, but I'm not sure if that is the same player as we have here. And we do see the BY player going first, going to drop the Garp, get a little search going, start finding some of those babies to resummon with the Moria later in the game. And we do see a baby Sabo, we see a couple baby Sabos there. So likely to see the grab on one of those, lest you don't find any more. And we do indeed see that. Seems pretty good. Always nice to get the Sabo combo locked down already. And we'll see the pass over to the Bonney player. See if they can find one of their searchers. And we'll see what they drew for turn. It looks like they drew a 10-cost Dofi. So that's not too bad. We will see the pass from the Bonney player into the Luffy player. And we'll see what they do on 3. They draw a trash Luffy from the top of their deck. Maybe we'll see one Don come down for the event. That could be pretty good. I imagine we'll only see one attack. Okay, they're going to hold the event. I respect it. We're going to see just an 8. Rest on the Garp with the Bonney effect and no trigger on the life. Looks like that was another Ezo. Nothing too crazy. Bonney draws a Roginante. Nothing crazy there. Still got no players for this next turn, this 6-Don turn for Bonney, which is interesting. We will see 5 into the Garp, and the Garp's going to go down. Important for Bonney to keep the board as clear as possible. That Garp, not much of a threat, but you never know. And you certainly don't want to attack BY Luffy's life. I wonder if we'll see any of these blockers come down. Maybe the Killer? Looks like he's eyeing up the Killer. I'm not sure if it's worth playing though. With Egghead Luffy, although Egghead Luffy is a couple turns off being activated, it looks like we are going to see the play on the Killer, and just a pass there, not too bad. BY Luffy is going to draw an Ace for turn, pretty nice card there, the Rush Ace. Not going to be live until their life gets a little bit lower. We don't see any 2Ks in their hand, which can be used to activate their life. None of the Flompe, Makino or Hiyori. We're just going to see 5 at life from the BY Luffy. And then probably with that other 5, we're either going to see the Sabo or the Trash Luffy come down. I think potentially the Trash Luffy here to start getting towards your end game. Bonney's going to counter that with an Apu, keeping it simple. And we'll see what the Luffy player chooses to do with the rest of their Don. Will it be Luffy or will it be Sabo? I think I like the Luffy personally, but both are good plays, and we are going to see the Luffy come down. Will we see him use the effect? I would imagine so. I would imagine so. Get that life out of there, draw a card. the buff to power isn't very important. Looks like we're going to see the draw of a Moria there, trashing a Flompe. I'm sure he'd have loved the Flompe, but the Moria is going to be very important. So nice to have that there. And that's the new PRB Art of Moria. Very nice looking card. And we'll see what the Bonney player draws for turn. It looks like they drew another Ezo. Wow. This is not a good hand from Bonney. Absolutely nothing to do on 5. No Carrot, no Cavendish, no Basil Hawkins, no Arouge, although a lot of them are cutting the Arouges now. It has to be said. We see the Roger Nante come down. And then maybe we see a swing at life. Nope, just a pass. That is fair play there. And the Luffy player is going to draw up to 7 Don. They get a baby ace, I believe that is. Yes, that's a baby ace. All these black and white babies. It's hard to tell the difference sometimes. I imagine we will see the BY Luffy player use their Luffy effect again. Then that would bring them into Egghead range if they wanted to try and clear one of these blockers. There's not a ton of things in the Bonney deck that the Egghead Luffy can hit. Especially now that they're choosing to cut a Rouge. Unless you have a Kuzan or an Ice Age to combo with the Egghead Luffy. It's quite limited. We do see the draw there of the 4-cost Kuzan though. And trashing a baby Sabo out of life. We might see the Kuzan come down. That could be pretty good. That could be pretty good to help the Luffy player remove something bigger on the next turn. We will see 8 in from Luffy. Leader effect resting the other Luffy. And we will see the take on the 8. We're going to get another killer. A lot of the same cards, a lot of these blockers, a lot of these 2Ks. Not great for Bonney, not great. Because we are going to the 8 Don turn, and you can drop Hody Jones, but it's not amazing. It doesn't feel good to do. You want to save that for that end game, like we were talking about, where you have to rest Sabos. But we'll see what the Luffy goes for here. He's got a few different options. He could play out a baby, and then drop a Sabo blocker to protect everything. Could go just with a Kuzan. Could go with the events. Got quite a few different plays he can make here. Looks like we're going to see a Sabo come down. Draw 2, trash 2. Very nice. Stop Bonney from KOing anything. Not that they really can. And we do see a baby Luffy and a Sabo grab there. So I wonder if we'll see the ditch on the Kuzan. Looks like he's eyeing up the Kuzan and maybe one of these. Maybe the Ace. The 5-cost Ace. Surely either a 5-cost Ace or a 5-cost Luffy. Interesting. Looks like he's eyeing up that baby Luffy as well as the Kuzan here. I think I'd like to see the Ace hit the trash. Because you can always just resummon it back and it's not got counter, which is pretty notable. All these babies and the big Luffys do have counter, which is pretty good. Looks like he's eyeing up the baby Luffy though. He can't make his mind up. Tough decision this one. I think I'd go for Ace. Yeah, looks like he's come around to my way of thinking, ditching the 2 Candleless cards. I think it's pretty good. BY Luffy, they need all the cards in their hand for the countering once they start looping that 9, because you will run out of cards quickly if your opponent starts swinging sort of 3 to 4 9s a turn. But we do see the ditch on the Kuzan and the Ace. I think that's sensible. Just the pass, he's still keeping this event, which is interesting. I kind of like it. I see most BY players just launch them immediately. But this player choosing to save the event, I think is a pretty interesting play. I'm kind of a fan. Draw another Shanks for the Bonney. Wow, this Bonney's hand is so slow. Like, brilliant top end. Shanks is not bad. As long as Sabo's not in play, of course. And Hody Jones and Doflamingo are great. But we're not seeing anything 5-cost. If we had a Carrot here to freeze that Luffy, it will be so much better. It's really unfortunate for the Bonney here. We're seeing a hand quite like this. Looks like we are eyeing up the Hody Jones. We're going to play Hody. And then we're going to rest, presumably the Sabo and one of the Dons. Don not going to matter much, but you might as well do all you can. We do see the Basil Hawkins grab there. We're going to see 8 into Sabo. Sabo goes down. And will we see 5 at leader? No, we will not. We'll just see the pass. So is able to deal that Sabo. Really not a great turn, and he now doesn't have a Hody Jones to rest Sabos in the future, which is less than ideal. But here we are, it is what it is. And the BY player is going to their 9 Don turn, so this is the final turn where you cannot play Moria and use the leader effect. He does have 2 of those 3 Brothers Bond events now, so I wouldn't be surprised to see one of those come out. Still no 2Ks is a little unfortunate. He cannot self-activate this turn again. Can obviously use the 8k Luffy, sorry, the trash 6k Luffy to go to 8 and trash 1 more life. But then that could leave him a little vulnerable if he's unable to draw a 2k off that and buff the leader. We do have the Hody Jones, we have the Bonney leader in play, and for all the BY Luffy player knows, there could be another Hody Jones. So it's a little risky going down to 1 here. But we'll see what he chooses to do. I think just playing out the Sabo is a relatively safe play. Nothing too crazy. You can use some of these events to grab a bit more counter or babies as options. And then from next turn, we can hopefully activate our leader effect. But we'll see. We're going to go 1 for the 3 Brothers Bond. Very nice. And we do see top 5. We're going to grab... Looks like there's a black Sabo and there's a baby Ace. Yeah, baby Ace or big Sabo. Probably see the grab on the big Sabo. I believe we already have 1 baby Ace. Might not need more than 1 of him. But we do have 2 big Sabos, so maybe we don't need a 3rd one of those. Looks like we're going with the Ace. It's fair enough. It is fair enough. At the end of the day, I think these are mostly just going to be 1k counters. But it's nice to get them out of the way instead of that event in hand. Not sure what we're thinking about. Are we thinking about 8 Don for Moria? We are. Wow. Ah, he's going to get... Nope, I thought he was going to grab the Flampe there, but it looks like we're going to grab the Kuzan and the Garp. That's a pretty interesting play. That is a pretty interesting play. You don't see that very often. Looks like we're going to be able to grab a trash Luffy there or a baby... Looks like he's on up the trash Luffy. Getting another one of those is pretty good. So the Moria on the board is pretty interesting, right? Because you've got a pretty threatening board state now. To even threaten Bonney with lethal, down to 2 lives already. We do got the trash Luffy off the Garp. And having the Kuzan on board enables your Egghead Luffy to do a lot of damage. Yeah, it's a really interesting play. It's pretty cool, I like it. I like it a lot. We will see how Bonney responds. 10 Don. By doing this, I suppose, you don't really let the Doflamingo do anything, right? So that's pretty cool. I like it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it a lot. So we do have Cavendish Hawkins in hand. It could just be as simple as that. We're going to see 5 into Garp. Get rid of that. Don't want to be losing next turn too easily. We do have a lot of 2Ks though, so that's something to note. We do see the Cavendish restanding 2 of those Dons. Very nice. And then we are going to see the Hawkins come down. Keeping it simple. Very nice. I like this play from Bonney. Finally drawn some mid-range options. And we do see them come down now. So the board is suddenly quite threatening for the BY player as well. I imagine we're going to see an Egghead Luffy play here with that Kuzan to maybe remove the Hody Jones would be pretty good. Because the Hody Jones is not rested, it doesn't have protection from the Roshinante from removal. But we'll see what the choice is here from the BY Luffy player. Not being able to activate has forced them to play in a pretty weird manner. But it's really interesting gameplay. I'm enjoying this a lot more than I usually enjoy BY Luffy games. They're normally pretty one note. You go to 0 and play Sabos. But the Moria resummoning a Kuzan and a Garp, it's pretty cool. I like it. We do see the Luffy effect, trashing a baby Luffy out of life. We do draw a Hyogo there, which is really nice. We could use that to use our leader effect with a baby. Maybe deploy a Sabo. And then stay at 1 life, which seems pretty good to me. Does seem pretty good to me. We can go Egghead Luffy and Sabo. Yeah, that's pretty good. Egghead Luffy Sabo, so we've got the blocker up. We can remove something in combination with the Kuzan swing, remove the Hody Jones. And then we just got a massive bunch of dudes, which seems pretty good to me. Does seem pretty good to me. But we'll see. He's thinking out his turn. I imagine we'll see the Hiyori swapping the Egghead Luffy for whatever that life is. And then we'll see a Luffy come down, swap with that. Don on leader, maybe trashing the Kuzan to put two things back in life. And then we'll probably see a proc of a Sabo with another baby Sabo. He's working out how many Dons he would have left. We've got blurry vision. Let's pause and play. That fixed it? I think mostly. Yeah, so there's the Kuzan swing, 7 into life. Going to see the rest on the Gecko Moria. I think the Bonney player kind of needs to defend this, which is unfortunate for them. It is unfortunate. We're going to see the block with the Kuzan. Okay, that's a fair comment. Block on the Kuzan, not too bad. We will see 2 coming down. We need 2 for leader effect, 2 for Hiyori, and 2 for 2 babies. So yeah, that's all the Don, right? So we can swing 8 now. Unless he's got a different play to what I was imagining. Yeah, we're going to see 8 at leader. We do see the block there with the Hawkins. And the 2k Izo, very nice. Getting a bit of value out of that Hawkins. So then we're going to see 2 Don for Hiyori. Probably. Yep. Here comes the Hiyori. Gonna take that last life, add it to hand. Looks like it was an ace. And then we're going to put an Egghead Luffy in there, I would assume. Egghead Luffy seems like a good target. Not sure what the Kuzan minus down, but you've got to imagine it's the Hody Jones. That is the biggest, most threatening thing on the board. Do see 2 for Luffy. Luffy coming out, buffing the leader, swapping with the Egghead Luffy from life. Egghead Luffy is going to KO. Oh, it looks like he's removed the Cavendish. Okay. That's pretty interesting. Valuing that Don restand more than the bigger body of the Hody Jones. Pretty cool. I like it. And we will see... What was this? 2 Don on leader. Going to see a trash. Presumably the Kuzan. And then he can put... He could either go for another Luffy or the Sabo. I imagine we'd see a Sabo here. I would have thought. Just get that protection on the board. Stop anything like a Shanks from coming down to remove a dude. Could go with an ace, I suppose. Ace is not too bad. Get that extra bit of pressure in. We are going to see the leader effect though. Going to trash the ace by the looks of it. And we will see Ace Sabo come down. Okay. Sabo on top. Yeah, Sabo on top. So we're going to use a baby Sabo now to swap with that big Sabo. Get the protection on the board. Get the cycle. Very nice play here from the BY Luffy player. I think this line was really good. Having that Kuzan on the board from last turn was a really nice play. It enabled him to make a really crazy turn here. So, really good thinking ahead from this BY Luffy player. Very, very good decisions. I like it. I like it a lot. And we do see the draw 2 there. Drew a Sabo and a Moria. Can never complain about too many Morias. This deck loves his Morias. Probably going to see the ditch on the Kuzan and something else. What do we get here? We are ditching... Looks like Kuzan Sabo. Nope. Kuzan and one of the babies. Baby Sabo, I think. Unsure. And then we're going to see a big swing into life. And that's 11. And that's going to get blocked by the Rochadante. Which is pretty good. Bonney's going to draw to 10. They can use their Doflamingo. But because the BY Luffy player was able to take out the Cavendish, they won't be able to restand it on for their leader effect. Which is pretty punishing. We do see 5 there from the Bonney leader into Kuzan. BY Luffy player is going to let Kuzan go down. Pretty interesting. Looks like Bonney's going to go with the Dofi anyway. Going to lock down that leader, Luffy and Gecko Moria. And no more swings. because there's no more Don to do so. So the only character that Luffy has that can swing this turn is the Sabo on the board, and well, I suppose the ace that's going to come out of life, right? But not going to be a lot of pressure here into the Bonney. Not much point swinging 6 with that Sabo, that would just get blocked with the Basil Hawkins. Imagine we'll see a Gecko Moria play coming in here, summoning that ace and then summoning another Sabo. Would seem pretty good to me. Get that Sabo protection down, you love to see it. And getting that ace swing off as well would enable you to get at least one card out of the Bonney's hand, if they choose to block with that Basil Hawkins, which is pretty good. It is pretty good. But we'll see what they go for here. I think the Gecko Moria play is most likely. And we do see the Gecko Moria play. Going to bring back the baby Sabo and the baby ace. Very good. Presumably playing over that Hiyori and maybe the Trash Luffy. Definitely the Hiyori, yeah, and looks like the Trash Luffy. That character can just get locked. The Sabo on board can swing, and it is also obviously just a blocker, which is pretty good. And we do see the ace swap with the ace, granting himself rush and 2k buff to the leader. 2 Don on the leader, and we're going to trash 1 from hand. Looks like we're going to ditch that Sabo. Those lovely manga Sabos. This player's rich. As you guys all well know, the more blinged out your deck is, that means the more skilled you are. And you can't get much more blinged out than those manga Sabos. Pretty crazy. We do see the Sabo and Luffy coming into life for the BY Luffy player. Sabo is going to swap with Sabo, buff leader, draw 2, trash 2. You get so much cycle with this deck. It's crazy how consistent this deck can be. Once you get in this loop of playing these Sabos, you just get to draw so many cards. And we do see 7 come down. We will see the block with the Hawkins and the Izo 2k. Wonder if we'll see the other Sabo swing. We don't. I think that's fair enough. We'll see what the Bonney goes for here on the next turn. They really need to see another one of those Hody Jones at some point. But we'll likely need one more turn of Doflamingo and then the Hody Jones. But as it currently stands, we're not looking too hot. We're not looking too hot if we're Bonney. It's not too good. Double Shanks, not very good when Sabo's getting looped. It's certainly not the card you want to see anyway. Looks like he's eyeing up that Cavendish, maybe. Looks like he's eyeing up the Cavendish, which is interesting. I believe he does have one more Doflamingo? Maybe not, maybe I'm mistaken. We're going to see 7 into the ace. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the BY Luffy player counter this, you know? But he lets it go. Lets it go. Very... You see the Cavendish come down. Freestanding those 2 Dons. We've got 5 left. We can at least put on a little bit of pressure here with the Hody and the Doflamingo. But with 2 of those Sabos on the board, it's not real pressure because the BY Luffy player can just choose to block with Sabo and then resummon them again with another Gecko Moria. But we are going to see 9. And looks like we're just going to see the block with one of the Sabos. Yep, so this 11, when it comes out, you got to imagine it's just going to be another Sabo block, which is not what you love to see if you're Bonney. We can maybe see a hit coming with Basil Hawkins, but that feels a little risky. We're going to see 11k at leader, I presume. Could be at Moria, wouldn't really matter, they're both 9k. I imagine we should see the block with the other Sabo, and we do indeed see the block with the other Sabo. We have 2 for killer, and just a pass there. Very nice. Very nice. So, BY Luffy player just got his 2 Morias left, but he can, of course, just play out another one. We believe we do have 1 more Moria. The other one got sent to the bottom of the deck, so this will be the last Moria. But typically, if you're playing 3 out as BY Luffy, it feels pretty good, man. It feels pretty good. You should be winning that game, I think. And unfortunately, our Bonney player here did have a pretty rough start. We are going to see 9 from the Moria. Likely to rest probably the leader, because the leader's always 11, right? Yeah, we're going to rest the leader. I think that makes sense. The leader's always 11. The other Moria is only 9. Say only 9. 9 is a massive swing. Bonney is going to take that one there. Does get the Apu. We do have a Hody Jones now, so we can try to go for game next turn as Bonney. It's going to be pretty tricky though, because the Luffy player is going to be able to have 1 life remaining, and they're going to be able to cycle out these cards from their hand that don't have counter. Likely see the ditch on the Three Brothers Bond here at some point, either off the leader effect or off the one of the Sabos. We do see the block with the killer come there with the Moria, second Moria. We do see Luffy Sabo, very nice. Luffy's going to swap with Luffy. There we go, there he comes. Luffy can buff himself as well for fun. And then we will see 2 Don go on the leader. Likely see the ditch on the Brothers Bond, I would have thought. Just guarantee as much counter in hand as you can. And then we'll see the summon of Sabo and Ace, presumably, from the trash to the life. We're going to ditch trash Luffy. It's fair enough. We've got a lot of counter. And we do see the Sabo and the Ace. I think that's correct. Have that Ace as an option for next turn if the Bonney does survive and fails to get game. Sabo, draw 2, trash 2. I imagine now we see the ditch on the Brothers Bond. Maybe not. Okay, we see the ditch on the Ivankov and the Luffy. Just wants to keep this Brothers Bond event. Has he forgotten it's there all the way over on the left? I'm not sure why we'd be keeping it at this point of the game, but maybe I'm missing something. We do see the draw from the Bonney player here. Likely going to have to go for game here with that Hody Jones. Being able to rest the Sabo is very nice. Yeah, there's not many other options, right? You've got some decent swings. You do only have 3 swings after you play the Hody, which is a little sus. But you can play Hody, put 3 on Cavendish to restand 2 more, and then you can swing with the other Hody. It's neither here nor there. We're going to see 9 at leader. I imagine we just see a counter 1 here. If he does block with that Sabo, you no longer need to play the Hody. But it's still not great. But yeah, we're going to see the counter 2. That's fine. It's 1 card. And then we've got 9 Don left for the Bonney player. You got to imagine if the 11 comes in from Doflamingo that he blocks with Sabo. That's a pretty free block. I think, yeah, we're gonna see Shanks. 6 to restand 2. And then 11 into something. We just die though. Yeah, we just die. Even he can just block this with the Sabo, right? And then the Luffy player can swing 9, 9, 8 at the very least. This doesn't seem like a great play. I think you had to go for game. We well know that he wouldn't have got it because the BY's hand is absolutely stacked for the counter. But I don't see how this play ever wins the game. 1 blocker, 1 life. And he's got a little bit of counter in hand. We've got 5k there. It's not too bad. But yeah, it's not looking great for the Bonney player. I don't love that play. I don't love that play. We do see the Ace come down. Luffy's going to come down, get that power buff. And then we can probably start swinging 9s with these Morias. Yeah, I don't love this at all. But hey, here we are. It is what it is. Maybe he thinks the BY Luffy player might grief their end game. But yeah, you've got to imagine we're going to see 9 here from the Moria. And then he either gives 3 cards or the life of the blocker. Can rest one of the other Morias. We're going to see 8. I don't love the 8, but I think it's fine. I don't think it really matters. I think we'd be better off going with a bunch of 9s. Bonney's only got access to 6 cards right now, so 2 9s would eat all of them. We did see... What did we see on that night? That last... there's the counter on the 9. Okay, he was resting the leader. So we've got 8 Don remaining, and we've got... We just need to start swinging 9s with these Warriors, really. Where we can swing 7 with Ace, and that's going to get a life. And that is another Cavendish. Nope, it's another Hody. So yeah, this is going to be game here for BY Luffy. I think the BY Luffy player played really well. That turn in the early game where they did Moria for Kuzan and Garp, I think was a really smart play. One that I certainly didn't think he would do. But really smart play from this BY Luffy player. Let's see if they can go all the way. The finals will be up really soon, in just a few hours today. So make sure you're subscribed if you want to check out the finals. And I'll see you later.